So welcome back. We're going to take the concert pitch Chanter timber body now, and we're going to generate some drawings. This is where we left it at the end of the last session, and this is the set of drawings we're now going to create. I'll just hide the panel. And you can see we have an overview sheet, cross-section view sheet, and the external dimensions, and then we have a sketch of the diameters of the tone holes and their distance from the bell end on the front and then on the back. So to generate this drawing, we need to go back to the design, and we go to File, New Drawing, Round Design, and you'll get this Create Drawing dialog box, and it's just fine to accept the standard ISO or the ASME standard. I typically go with the ISO. If you're using this for your own academic work or for your own workshop, you need to figure out what sheet size you want it to be on. If you're going to print it on A4 as part of an academic document, then you probably change this to A4. If you want it to be 1-to-1 for direct comparison in your workshop, leave it at A3. I'm going to go with A3 420 by 297, so that's going to be landscape, which is the way I want it. Hit OK. We let the cloud do its thing for a while, and you can see that this is where we're left. Now that looks very small, so we'll just drop it there. And the reason it looks small is because it's scaled at 1-to-5. So we'll change that by clicking on the three little dots. We go 1-to-1. Now you mightn't find 1-to-1 there immediately. You might have to go down looking for it. It's here on my setup because I use it so frequently. Now the style, if I leave that default selected, I'll just get visible edges. So I'm going to leave it like that. I don't want it like that, but I'll leave it like that for the moment, and I'll hit OK. And that's what visible edges look like. Bring the cursor over it, and you can see the grey, dark grey rectangle comes around it. When you get that, double click, and back comes up your box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in shaded. Close. Now, you can make up your own mind when you put your cursor over these things. This is a grid, if you like. It's like a map grid, where if you're having a discussion with somebody, you can say, if you look at B5, that would bring you over to this location here, or C4. If you're having a discussion with somebody, that's a good handy grid to have around, but it doesn't add anything to my life, so I just highlighted it, clicked on it, and deleted it. Down here you have the I forget the name of it, the information about the sheet, and you can see that it has taken in the concert pitch Chanter timber body only, and the day, my name, and the date, and you can enter other stuff here, and it's up to you whether you want to keep that or not. It's a good idea if you're going into production with it to keep some sort of date on it or a version number, so that you'll know that you're using the most current one. I'm just going to get rid of it. Now let's just check. So you can see here I had the holes facing us, and here I had the cross section with the holes on the vertical. That's not what I have here. So let's change that. And we'll go to front here, orientation. And you might have to play around with this. What does top look like? Oh, lovely. But you could look at right. See what happens, you're looking down the gun barrel. So back to top, that's the one I want. Close. So now what I want to do is pick section view. Now your section view might be somewhere else along this row of icons, or it might be hidden here and you might have to go down here looking for it. But here it is. Now we have to select parent view. Bring the cursor up towards this lad and you can see the grey box coming up again. Click once. Now this gets finicky. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take a view through that image. And when I come up here, you can see that the triangle identifies that I'm at the center point there, and I'm on a dotted green line out here. So I'm going to click there. Now, there's the little correct that turns green. Click on him. And you can see a dotted line vertical that locks the cross-section view to the original. Place it there. And there we have it. So we have the tone holes looking downwards and the back D and the C flat looking upwards. And that gives you a good overview of the internal structure of the chanter. So now we'll move on and do a sheet for the dimensions. So we'll quickly add another sheet. And we get a blank sheet because it simply adopts whatever template we used on the first sheet. Base view is what we want. And very similar to what we did the last time. Shaded 1:1. Okay. Now let me just go back to the other drawing. Go to the second sheet. You can see where we want the lines, the dimensions to actually show. You can see that we have another cross-section view here labeled B, and that'll give us this image here, and we'll put in the other dimensions down there. Okay, back we go. So dimensions, this is the icon you want. Now you'll get a range of dimension types, and this, if you pick one of these, that'll limit the application in terms of what it'll go looking for. If you just click on that icon, it'll do its best to to make a judgment as to which one is best. So we need to select edge or specify point on an object. I'm going to just put the cursor towards him, and you can see immediately I get a symbol and a number for the diameter. Click. That says yes, I want the diameter, but I need to click again to actually place that fella. Now we go the other end. So we have two diameters placed. Now the cursor is locked into the dimension tool. So if you hit the escape button, it comes out of the dimension tool, and now you can say, right, I don't want him up there, so I click on it. And you have all these little grey dots. We pick on that grey dot, we can move the dimension around. Click on that grey dot, move the dimension around. We'll go back, pick up dimension. Let's have a look at him. 32.7. 45.5. Now I'm going to zoom in on this chappy. That's given me a diameter of 21. Come over to here without the second click, go the second click, and I get a length of 4. So the software has figured out that I don't want the diameter, I want the linear length. So I'll go to here now, offers me diameter 21. I click once, that gives me 21. Now I'm going to go to here and I lose the 21, but I get 275. So I'll click on 275. That gives me the distance between the stopper and the start of the metal ferrule. Now we want the full length. Up we go. That gives us the full length. Now, I don't like the layout of these 3 dimensions here, so I'm going to arrange them. So I get the Arrange Dimensions dialog. That'll stack them, and this will align them horizontally. Go with that one. I will pick the one I want to use to anchor the others, the base dimension. So I'll pick 275 there. The cursor has moved on to dimensions to move. Click on him, and we click on him. We hit OK. And they level up nicely. Now I'm inclined to leave the 4 down there because to put the 4 in there, you actually lose control over the visibility of that arrow. So what other dimensions might come in handy? $20.4. So I'll just leave it there. And I'll go over here and I'll pick up that one as well. And that gives me 21. We leave that there. Hit escape. Bring him down where he's visible. Now where you put them is very much to your own taste. And I reckon we're good there. Let me double check the original drawing. Oh yeah, we have a little hint there, so we'll go back and do that. Okay, so the 4 is not doing a good job there. We put it up there. So click on text, select an edge, one click, we can start typing. And what did we say that was? 25. Then go back to the start, and I'm going to the dialog box, and I'm going to pick up symbol, and there we have the slashed circle, the symbol for diameter. Close. That's him well marked up. Back we go to cross section. Now you're not clicking, you're just looking for that green line, and this can get very finicky. You just have to be patient. I have the green line, one click. I keep the green line. That thing's in my way. Just moved it out of the way. B. Pick up the green correct. And hit OK. Now what dimensions did we use in this? The internal diameters, the taper, the length of the reed seat, and the length of the conical bore. Oh, dimensions. Now, sometimes it doesn't pick up the diameter, but you get these little green squares. Now that will measure between those 2 points. I'll do it. But it doesn't tell me it's a diameter. So I'll just edit, undo that. Go back again. Now, because I've zoomed in, it knows I'm looking for the diameter. I'm trying to put it exactly on the line, but you can see it's jumping away from it. So I'll leave it there for the moment. I'm up here now. I have 3 diameters. Now I'll hit escape and I'll go back and I'll try and pin this chap straight onto that line. And now I appear to have more control over positioning. Click away from it. That'll do me just fine. Now we want the length of a line. Now you can see that the angle is on the slope and it's 20.2, and you can see the way all the lines are going slightly to the right. Now I'm moving the cursor left. You see what happened? The software has recognized that I'm looking for the longitudinal dimension, not the actual length of the physical line. Well, that gives me 20. And I'll pick up. Now, I'm going to just pick up that little green point there, which marks the bend in the line, and I'll go over here. I'll pick up another green line here. And it goes to the horizontal. I'll go back and check. Oh yeah, we have an angle and a taper. Okay, so let's get the angle. Now, there are several ways for calculating the taper, but let's go for dimensions, angular. And over the angle is big. And you can see 1.31 is showing 1.31 degrees. Now, this can get very finicky. If you move too far out, you'll actually lose the angle. See the way the value has gone away out here. That, hit escape. Let me just delete that. We zoom back in. And we go back for angle. Now, if you see here, you have the green square showing up. If you leave that showing up, the angle will show outside. You get the cursor in so that there's no green square at all. Come down, I get a green square pops up. I lose sight of the angle. I go back into the middle, no green squares. Click. It stays where I wanted it. Now, I hit escape there, so I'm just going to make a change on this chap. It's reading 1.31, but I'm going to change its angular precision to 3 digits. Watch it change. And that's the level of accuracy you're actually looking for. Now, there's a couple of ways of calculating the taper. Just go to pick up a calculator. Bring it back now. So I went off and I got the classic calculator. And there's 2 ways for calculating the taper. One is to say that I'm going from 5.5 to 13.2 in a run of 337.2. So we do 13.2 minus 5.5 equals. So we grow 7.7, we divide that by 337.2. We get that. Now we should have done it the other way around, so we just invert that, and we have a taper of 1 and 43.8. Or another way of doing the same thing is to take the angle 1.308 and get the tan, and then invert that, and we get exactly the same number. So 2 ways for getting the taper. I'm going to call that 43.8, and now I'm going to go to symbols, and I've taper and slope showing permanently up there, but you might have to go down here looking for it. You get taper and slope, and this is the symbol for taper in engineering terms. Click once, and then the taper symbol looks like it's moving around, but if you click on that green correct mark, it'll go back to where you wanted it. You then have something to write up here, and I'm going to write down taper. Just lost it there for a moment. Taper, so dimension, taper, and I usually put in the symbol for roughly equals, but I don't have it to hand at the moment. So taper equals 1 in, what did we say it was? Said it was 1 to 43.8. Return. So there's that sheet done, and we'll save all of this. What's the third one we want? Tone holes, locations, and diameters. Solid view, 1 to 1, and we want the holes looking at us. Lovely. Now we want another copy of this, but looking at the back. Now we're not going to use cross section this time, we're just going to bring in another base view. 1 to 1. We want solid view, and we want to see, say, the bottom. Okay. Now you can see the way the bottom view sort of turns it around. Now, reorienting it is a little bit awkward, so we want to pick up the modify rotate tool and want to select our target. We want to rotate, specify the base point. Now it'll offer you a base point, so pick one, and you can see how it gives you excuse me, rotation, all right, and it will lock to the horizontal. So I'm going to accept that. and it moved. Hit escape. Ah, I never committed. So let's do it again. And hit OK. Now it's good. So I'll move it roughly over there. Now we pick up dimensions. Hit escape. That line will go a bit away after a little while. So dimensions. Let's have a look. And it picks up the diameter. You can place these wherever you like. I'm going to go slow here. As you bring the cursor around the hole, you can get various, what do you call it? Select different elements of the actual hole, including the center. It's not picking it up there for me, but so I'll go with the diameter. There we have it. See the way you pick up the center? Don't want that. We want the diameter. If you don't get what you expect the first time, just go back. And if you don't like how they line up, you can go back and straighten them. Hit escape to get out of the tool, and then just go back and line them up. Now we'll go to dimensions. Now we are looking for the center. We want it to, from the Now, you will run into this kind of difficulty every so often, trying to find the actual center of the hole. So what I often do is I go here and I get the center mark and I mark up each of the circles. Now I go for dimensions and then I take linear. You can see now it's offering me the center. And you can align those to your heart's content in your own time. So now we want to pick up diameter dimension down here. And now we want to pick up linear dimension. See, will we capture it here? Now that would do as well, because that's sort of the center of the circle. So there we have our 3 sketches done. But there's one last thing to actually do, and it's to right click here and we'll rename sheet. You can see it just as a generic name. So we go tone holes there. Hit enter. Rename sheet. We'll call it dimensions. And rename sheet. And we'll call this overview. There's your 3 drawing sheets complete. Okay, thank you. We'll move on to more complicated stuff in the next session.